Hello and welcome to today's esoteric collective reading. I hope you're having a great day. Just a couple of disclaimers for people new to the channel. I have a cat and also roommates, so you may or may not hear shuffling in the background, like now with my cat playing with the cat toy, or voices if my roommate decides to come into the living room. I'm in my bedroom, so we'll see. But point being, you may hear some things in the background of this video. That's on my side, not on yours. Don't need to worry about that. But for today's video, as well as tomorrow's video, if you're familiar with my channel, I post esoteric collective readings on Saturdays and Sundays. Today, and tomorrow, we're going to be doing a pick-a-pile, but this pick-a-pile is going to work a little differently. So in order to give each of the piles their own individual time, I've decided that this clip you're watching right now will play at the beginning of both of the videos, for probably about 2 minutes. And then, the entire video will be one of the two piles. Now, if you have naturally found one of the two videos, and you choose to watch that one, then maybe that's the one that was meant to find you. However, the idea of this is that if you watch this pick-a-pile and this energy isn't necessarily resonating with you, you may go to the description of this video that you're watching and the other video that I made. So, for example, if you picked Tiger, the alligator video would be in the description. So feel free to look at this art and meditate on it. Like I mentioned, the two cards we pulled today are Tiger and Alligator, as my cat eats his food across the corner of the room. But yeah, feel free to look at the art and see which pile calls to you, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Hello, and welcome to your pile, alligator pile. Don't mind me as I fix the camera real quick. There we go. So as you heard in the intro, we're going to go ahead and get into this, but I wanted to start off with reading you the alligator expert in the book. All of the decks used will be in the description of the video, as well as the other video that is attached with this pile. It's more of like a either A or B thing, not necessarily a part 1 or 2. Although maybe it could apply that way. But getting back to the card. The main messages are hidden enemies and survival. If you've been to the swamp, you know that even if you can't see them, under the surface of any body of fresh water, an alligator is lurking. Alligators are not to be trifled with. They wait just underneath the placid surface until their prey gets close enough to the water's edge, at which point they jump out, snap down to the bone-crushing jaws, and drag their meal underwater to drown it. This watery predator moves with surprising speed and precision, too quickly for the animal to react or recoil. If you pulled the alligator card, you too have a hidden enemy lurking in your environment. Now is the time to tap into your intuition. If something or someone makes you feel worry, it's for a reason. Not everyone is who they seem, and it's possible that someone is waiting for that moment to strike when your defenses are low. This isn't meant to encourage paranoia, but to serve as a reminder that your gut instinct is the right one. If you don't trust someone, keep your distance. Alternatively, it's possible that you are in survival mode, thanks to past experiences that have left you feeling mistrustful. Take some time to discern which energy is present now, keeping in mind that it may be a little bit of both. Further reflection. When we are in survival mode, our nervous system is out of whack. The frontal lobe of our brain, which controls our judgment and the ability to see the bigger picture, isn't functioning as it should. This can also manifest as the root chakra issues. The root chakra is our lowest energy center, and it deals with concerns about safety. Take the time to ground yourself and really listen to your body. What makes you feel safe in your body and the surrounding environment? Give yourself those things today. Apologies for my roommate's cat. Got a baby cat, he's still adjusting, so he's safe and okay. He's just adjusting to a new environment. Which, maybe that's something that you're going through. That card talks about how, while yes, you could have some people that you might not necessarily trust around you now, it could also be that you've had to deal with people, places, and things in the past that have put you in a state of fight or flight. You could, this is something that might not apply for everybody, but if you grew up in a household that did not feel safe, especially for like inner child stuff, it can literally leave like almost a residue of fear in your body that can make it really hard to like relax, like literally physically. They say that tension or trauma can like stay in the body and create tension, and that is so true, especially if it's something that has been going on when you were a kid or ever since you were a kid. So that idea that you're able to work through your body slowly with time to release that energy, to release that tension that you don't need, frankly, because who does need tension? And able to feel safe in your body, but also your environment again. It's like that idea of, I think of like PTSD or CPSD, CPTSD. Anyway, sorry. Point being, with PTSD, if you're involved in something very traumatic, going to a similar venue would bring back some of those traumatic memories, and your body might start to engage in a fight or flight reaction despite that you being safe in this new venue, right? And there goes my cat playing with the cat toy in the corner, just to cheer you up because this is quite heavy. So we're going to pull some tarot on this. Kind of, I don't think you need to know more about, then I gotta say that, I pulled a card, so. Interesting. Okay, I was just about to say, I don't think you need to know more about the bad stuff. Let's talk about like how you're gonna get out of this. And then the card that I pulled was Six of Swords upright. Here, I'll just put that down so you can see it. So Six of Swords talks all about like this idea of getting away from mental abuse, getting away from stress and anxiety. I used to have a tarot deck. I believe it's called Tarot of the Abyss. It's like a black and white deck. It's like hand drawn with the art. I don't remember the author because I haven't had it in years, but I used to have this deck where the Six of Swords. Hello, Queso. Are you enjoying your carrot cat toy? Carrots could be a synchronicity. Cats too, because the cats are going crazy for this reading, and they were pretty quiet for the last one, so that's interesting. But no, it talks all about like there was this art on the Six of Swords in that deck of a woman like flying away on this like big, like supernaturally, fantastically big pigeon or bird, right? This idea of like flying away from the war, almost. So we're gonna keep pulling on this, but I want to make it clear that if you have been experiencing that, almost like having to build up your walls into a fortress to protect yourself, you're gonna be getting away from that. Almost like flying over your own walls into new territory, which might sound scary, but when you think about it, and hopefully you can hear me over my cat playing with the scratchy toy, it's new, which can be scary, but sometimes the new is actually way less scary than the current situation, and how scary the current situation can be. And so while yes, the body, when it experiences or comes across unfamiliar, can be a little bit antsy, a little nervous, maybe even hesitant, it's important to know that if your body is only ever used to being in that like fight or flight, am I safe energy, the feeling of feeling safe would be new and unfamiliar. So, let's see how you're gonna get out of this. Whoa. Interesting. Okay. The Four of Pentacles came out, and it came out sideways, but I felt like I wanted to put it upright. Mainly probably just so you can see it well, but that idea that maybe you're... So Four of Pentacles, I should talk about that first. So, Four of Pentacles, while I clarify with cards, talks about like... Because it's Pentacles, the example that the card uses is money. So that idea of like money is flowing in and out. You're giving back to the community, but you're also getting money back from the community, kind of a thing. It's very much feeling like you have to hold on to stuff, but needing that because things are constantly flowing in and out. right? It's like going from 0 to 100 to 0 to 100 to 0 to 100, and every time you have 100, you want to hold on to it because you feel like you're going to go to 0 again, right? So it could be that you feel like that applies to the current situation that you're going through. Like maybe there's been ups and downs and you've been kind of clinging on to the ups, not knowing that there's even bigger ups for you. Right? It's like with that flying metaphor I mentioned of that Six of Swords. It's like, oh shit, okay. Whoa, okay, 4 cards came out. So, oh wait, nope, 5. There was a hidden one. There was a hidden card in the last reading too. That's interesting. That's happened twice now. But anyways, I guess these will be our cards for this reading. That idea though, like, with that 4 of Pentacles, it's... Ooh. Interesting. Okay. Well, you saw that with the King of Pentacles. Here, I'm just gonna zoom out. There you go. Okay, hopefully you can see all of that. Yeah, okay, cool. So, going back to that 4 of Pentacles, it's like that idea that, especially since now I've clarified it, and I'm seeing a lot of, like, King of Pentacles, 2 of Cups, and then the 9 of Cups in reverse. It's like, you've been burned in the past by friendships, maybe even romantic partners, and finding people that you don't feel like you have to be 0, 100, 0, 100 with. Finding people that help you reach your own balance, your own equilibrium. That idea that finding people who are also their own King of Pentacles, who can help you become your own King of Pentacles, right? With the King of Pentacles, it's like the energy of having full mastery of your material, right? So yes, that could be you have a lot of money, but it could also be that, like, you are fully aware of what's going on around you, how you can put action to help what's going on around you. You're aware of your place in this world and what you were meant to do, right? King of Pentacles is the mastery of your material. And yeah, sometimes when people have mastery of the material, they also have some money coming in, but not all the time. I think of like, okay, so if you're familiar with Natija Cave, I believe her last name is, she's a reader on YouTube. She says something every once in a while where it's like, the most spiritual people you'll meet are the people who are like down on their luck that you wouldn't quote unquote necessarily expect, right? It's that idea that like people who have a strong hold on their material, who know what they want for their life and are able to act on it, doesn't necessarily mean that they're billionaires. It just, and in that same vein, does not necessarily mean that people who have a lot of money, who might be billionaires, does not mean that they're necessarily a King of Pentacles. For example, Bezos. Like, I would not call that man a King of Pentacles. I would call him a crook. But anyways, point being, going back to your reading, somebody, oh, damn. Bless you to my roommate. If you heard that, sneezing twice. And if you, sneezing is like a release of energy. Some also say it's kind of like a release of grief. So like that idea that you're literally releasing the grief of having to deal with those rough relationships that made you feel like friendships and your material is meant to be a 0, 100, 0, 100 scenario, right? You're meant to experience things that take you out of that energy of feeling like you're always having to question yourself with that 4 of Cups reversed, and into this energy that you can handle your material, and that even though it's new, like we talked about with that, like your body not necessarily feeling comfortable with the good because it's not used to it, and the body can find things unfamiliar, scary. This idea that you'll be able to find community, whether it be platonic or romantic, or maybe even like a found family situation, like kind of like a maternal or paternal figure in a way, like mentoring kind of a vibe. It's giving that I think upcoming in your future, you're going to be experiencing some people who are going to help you out in your material and also help you kind of resolve this grief that might be in your body still from having to deal with these energies. Or you're dealing with these energies right now and having people to help bring you out of those situations so you can work on rejuvenating yourself. Especially with the Four of Cups in reverse, it's like this idea that I think you will have the courage to seize this opportunity, this Ace of Pentacles, when it comes. But you're gonna have to be open to the idea that the new is not necessarily bad. New is not necessarily scary. It could just kind of feel that way sometimes when your body has been tricked by some shitty people. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this off with an All of You is Magic card. If you're interested in visualization or meditation practices, those are really good for that. I like to use them as journal entries personally, so if you're a writer like me, that could help as well. Bleh, I can't talk. Whoa, okay. The cards kind of got all jumbled in my hands, but then one in particular did come out. It's kind of like a burnt orange, like a warm brown kind of a color, so that could be synchronicity for you. It's like almost gold, but not quite. So first I want you to look at this art, see if any thoughts or feelings come to mind, any childhood memories. And then we're going to go ahead and read. Forgive the camera shaking while I do this. When a chapter ends, it's okay to take time to grieve what was. This allows you to move into your next phase of your life, lighter and more open to magic. And then the ritual. Write down a list of things you never got the chance to grieve in a previous experiences. Sit with the emotions that come up. This is the first steps of letting them go. If you hear background noise, that is my roommates chattering in the living room. I apologize for the sounds, but just know that's on my end and not yours. But yeah, I would just say really take time with yourself with this. Don't feel like you have to rush the healing process. Let your body do this at its own pace, and let your heart do it at its own pace, and let your mind do it at its own pace. And they might, at first, not all work at the same pace, but I think that that's okay. As long as you yourself are able to still breathe and are not feeling overwhelmed. I feel like if you get to a point, especially if you decide to do that journaling exercise the card mentioned, if you get to a point where the feelings are so overwhelming, it's physically hard to breathe, or you feel like you can't move, I would say maybe take a break. Maybe get some water if you're able to. Maybe call a trusted friend if you have one nearby that can help you with this. This is not something to do in a night. It's giving the energy of like a teacher telling you, don't write the essay in one night. I was that kid who would write the essay in one night. I'm telling you, this is not something you just do in one night. Yeah, sure, you can journal about it one night, but I'm talking about the physical release of the tension in your body. The process that it might take to have your body feel safe again. That is going to take time. But like the card said, feeling the emotions and breathing, that's the first step. But yeah, if you're still here, please check out my linktree in my YouTube description and YouTube bio to help donate money to Palestine, Sudan, Congo, Yemen, and Haiti, as well as many more. The whole point of that linktree is to help put money to where money can help people live better lives. So if you're interested in doing that today, go check that out. Also, if you're an immigrant, particularly in the United States, I hope you're having a beautiful, fantastic day. And I hope you get to see golden hour today, or I hope you get to see dawn. I'm personally more of a fan of dawn because it's a little bit easier on the eyes to see, frankly. But whatever's your favorite, I hope you get to see that soon because the earth has beautiful experiences for us to see, and I think it's important that we see them. So, have a great day and hang in there, champ. I think it's gonna be okay, but it might seem hard right now, and I get that. You got this. But yeah, peace.